Now let's push on a bit. Let me get rid of line 5, which can't compile anyway. I've created a new manager object, and a manager object has got the method called getBonus and setBonus. Not found in employee, only found in manager. And I can store the address of the newly created manager object in E, which is of type employee. No problem with that. Do you think there will be a problem with this? Get salary. Okay, I'm trying to get a salary, and let's try to just print it out. What about get bonus? Technically speaking, the manager which E is referring to will have a get bonus method. Let's try compiling test. Not surprising. Line 6. Line 6. There's nothing wrong with line 5. It is possible to call get salary of the manager object. It's going to return you 500. Now the problem is line 6. It says cannot find symbol. Hey, there's no get bonus method. This is very strange. Correct? Because the object being stored, the address of which is stored in E is a manager object, not an employee object. Although a manager is an employee and should have a get bonus method. So what went wrong here? Okay, the rule here is that if you use a variable of type employee, you can only call the methods which are declared in employee. Employee class has got only two methods, get salary and set salary, and ignore equals. Alright, hence this is valid, but this is not valid even though the object E is referring to actually has a get bonus method. You can't use E to call get bonus. The problem is with the type of the variable E. The type is employee, so you are restrained. Alright, what you need to do in order to call the get bonus method of this manager object is you have to, what we call perform a class cast. You have to check if E instance of a manager. Okay, let me do this first and I'll explain later. Instance of is another Java keyword. It is a very interesting keyword because this is an operator, and it's the only operator in Java which is spelled out. Other operators are plus, minus, the asterisk for times, and the percent sign for modulus. Instance of is an operator and is spelled out in words, in a word. Manager M equals to manager E. Okay, let's see what I've done. Look at this chunk of code here. First thing, I check if this is true. Now the instance of operator returns true or false. Okay, you return true if the object stored stored at the address which is stored in E. Okay, put it another way. If the object E is referring to is actually of this type, this expression will return true. You will go into the if block, and I'm declaring a new variable called M. Alright, and I'm going to do what we call a class cast. I'm casting. I'm using the cast operator. Now these brackets are the cast operators, right? I'm casting E to manager type, and I'm going to store it in variable M, which can store the address of a manager object. So what I'm checking here is that is the object referred to E? referred by E really a manager object? If so, I'm going to declare a new variable of the correct type, of the manager type. I'm going to perform a casting operation, and now I can use M to call get salary and get bonus. This is the one. Let's try to save this and compile. This should work. Missing return statement. Employee.java line 22. Let me get rid of this. I was testing some code just now. Okay, let's try again. Can compile. Can run. Alright. It prints out the salary 500 and the bonus 300. So this is class casting, and you do it if you have a variable of the wrong type. Okay, and you need to call the method, which is, as in this case, you want to call a method of manager, but the address is stored in a variable of type employee. Now you'll be wondering, who in the world will do this weird thing in the same method? Now this is a strange example. If I wanted to call get bonus, I would have immediately, right at the very beginning, done this. You know, print this out, for example, system.out.print. So why in the world do I have to do weird things like this? So this is useful if you have a method. Okay, why not? Let me write a method here. Blah big static void check employee or is manager. Or hold on. Actually, I've written a method. Let me just copy the whole chunk of code over. Now let's take a look at what I've written here. I've written a method called count managers, which takes in an array list of employees. Now what does that mean? That means this array list may contain employee objects or manager objects. It can be a mixture of employees and managers. So the objective of count managers is to return an integer, the number of real managers in list. Yep, legitimate function. So what I do here is I use a for loop to go through the array list. Okay, call list.get I. I need to check if current employee is a manager. If so, I want to increment the counter. So I use the instanceof operator here to check. If current employee instance of manager, counter plus plus. Otherwise, reloop, go back to the for loop, grab the second employee from the list and check again. At the end, I return counter, which may be 0 if there's no manager on the list. So what I can do here is I can create an array list new array list of employees. Okay, I'm going to add to temp a new manager object. Okay, I'm going to add to temp another manager object, followed by, say, a employee object, followed by another employee object, followed by a manager object. I'm going to call count managers and pass temp over. number of managers. Let's see if this works. If everything goes well, I should have 3 printed out. Oops, cannot find symbol array list. I forgot to import Java util. Save. Let's try again. List.size. The method is called size, right? Yep, not length. Array list.size. Let me run it. I should get 3. Yep, that's it. So the count managers method takes in an array list of employees, which may include managers and employee objects. And I'm using the instance of operator to check everyone in the list whether he is a manager or not. Now, no casting is required here because there's no need to call a method in the manager. Now, let's change my problem a bit. Alright, instead of count managers, the problem now is I have to write a method which totals the bonuses of all the managers in the list. So let me write that method. Copy. The method name shall be get total bonuses of managers only, because a normal employee has no bonus, right? I don't need a counter in this case. I don't want to count the number of managers. Alright. Now, if current employee is an instance of manager, what do I want to call? I want to call the manager's get bonus method. And I can't call the get bonus method using the current employee variable because of its type. So I need to do something like this. Equals to current manager equals to manager current employee. I'm doing class casting. This works. Oops, I need a counter, right? Int total bonus. Default to 0, and at the end I need to return total bonus. Okay, here total bonus plus equals to current manager dot get bonus. Now this should work. Alright, I've used casting here because I need to call a method of the manager object, and I can't do it using the variable called current employee. Okay, let's try total bonus equals to get total bonuses of manager temp. Total bonus. Now before that, let's try to see what should answer be. This is the bonus, 300 plus 300 plus 300. Answer should be 900. Save it. And let's compile, test, and run it. I get 900. Alright, if I had used current employee, I wouldn't have been able to call the get bonus method of the manager object, even though current employee may really be pointing to a manager object. So I've introduced class casting. I've introduced the instance of operator in this session.